Hey guys, this is not a build guide, but an overview for my Penance brand Elementalist that I'm playing right now in the Hardcore Mercenaries League. My clear is pretty good, as you can see, is technically also enough to just Frostbling, by the way. My clear is pretty good, my boss damage is around 4 million right now, and my defenses are also pretty good. I'm gonna go into the POB in a sec. Also, in the description you can find the POB that I'm gonna show. And I played a lot of Penance brand in my life, so this is not like some bait stuff, but it's also not an S tier build. Just to be clear, Ephemeral Edge Trickster is still better. Most of the stuff people do on Berserker is still better. Like, this is not the best build, but I love playing brands and I love playing casters. And I think this build at least has some potential to always scale. And I gotta say, my goodness, the chill Ascendancy on Elementalist does feel so good on this. It's actually wild. I feel like I never get hit because I place brands or Frostblink into enemies and they are just instantly chilled for 40%. It is actually crazy how this single Ascendancy node makes mapping feel very trivial, honestly. And yeah, I'm gonna go through all that stuff in a bit. So around or about mercenaries, I do them all because you can just do this. You place down brands and you run off screen, and they are dead. That's it. So I I'm doing some stuff here with these monsters, but when I'm returning, he's just dead. That's it. And that is pretty good, unless they giga nerf mercenaries. This is some very good upside about this build for this league. And yeah, you will also see on the boss, my damage is very comfy considering I'm playing hardcore and I have actual defenses at the same time. But yeah, I did not do like Ubas yet. I did not finish the cooking. This is not some perfectly min-maxed character that is completely done. This is just some, I play a little bit for fun. I did not like invest all my time into League Start, also have work and all. And I just wanted to give an overview because a lot of people just want to play something else sometimes. And I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. If you play Trade League or you have an Impulsar in SSF, this and you like this place. This is good, not exceptional, but it's a good build and a lot of fun. I'm actually having a blast right now. And golems, unlike the propaganda, at least in T16 maps, they basically never die. I have level 20 golems, and you can see also I ran through this whole Pit of Chimera map. They are completely full life, all of them, and I'm chilling, right? Because basically your golems cannot die if you kill monsters fast, if you chill them hard and all of that stuff. Big Boom Expedition is one of the rare occasions where they sometimes die, but I mean, you just keep on running in circles and all, but like, you don't mind that really. Don't do maps with additional chaining though, to be fair, keep that in mind. But elsewise, I am very pleased so far. But again, fair disclaimer, this is not an S tier build. This is a fun tier build that works quite well. And yeah, that is the showcase. Let's go into the POB real quick. And I have some in-game DMs, which I am, dude, I'm recording. It's fine, guys. Always do the trades. So, Elementalist, I said already, the Ascendancy is very interesting to me for a few reasons. Reason number one is the Chill Ascendancy. The Chill Ascendancy in this is wild. So, let me actually go into the pop. Basically, you always chill everything by 40% if you have some increased effect of ailments. And for that, you take this mastery, you take some chill effect here, you take, for example, Ash Frost Storm Anoint, and some other effect, and I am always chilling for 40%. This is wild. Yeah? Just to be clear, this is wild. This Ascendancy is giving you everything around you is slowed for 40% because you have Frostbling of Windchain Blast with giga big AoE. Right? You have golems, which give you giga big AoE, and you have 7 brands with which you can off-screen. So if you play this well, you have 40% action speed slow and 20% damage, less than their damage dealt. So enemies deal 20% less damage. This is insane. Yeah? For my hardcore brain. I mean, maybe some softcore players are watching this and they're like, what are you talking about? But yeah, Shaper of Storms is pretty good, but not forever. But especially at the beginning, it is very good because Shaper of Storms is something on Penance brand. Penance brand doesn't hit hard, it hits often. And for that, having 25 base shock is wildly good. And with the help of a few passives on the passive tree, I am at 65% shock effect. So right now, I think I would need this, by the way. I'm not 100% sure. I think I need this 20% additional. I just respec for some jewels. I think right now I would be at 63% shock or some stuff. But yeah, for that, it's kind of good. Keep in mind, though, if you have a lot of shock, then all other sources of increased damage taken get worse. So for example, there is always the tech where you put in a Stormblast Mine. And when you read Stormblast Mine, you can see it says in the last line, each mine applies 3% increased damage taken to enemies near it up to 150. So you would say, okay, hold on, let me actually just place down a lot of mines, which this actually does not cost a lot of mana, and with quality, it is 4% increased damage. Let me put 10 Stormblast Mine and a boss, and I'm gonna have 40% more damage. Well, actually, if you put in 10 active mines, I was at 1.99 million, right? We are only at 2.4. So it's not 40% more because you already have a shock in your build. These kind of things lose value. It's not more multipliers anymore. The more increased damage taken you have on enemies, the less effect it has. Still, honestly, I would remove Frost Shield and put Stormblast Mine in here because you just put down brands, you wave off Conviction an enemy, and then you're kind of just standing there. And I mean, just having the Stormblast Mine, yeah, it's fine with a mana 10 Stormblast Mine, just throwing them, let them be on the floor. It is some damage increase. I should actually do that as well, but I just never bothered because my damage was good enough, honestly. Okay, so this is Ascendancy's number 1 and 2. Golem Ascendancy, kind of self-explanatory, feels way better than I thought, honestly. I thought they were going to chain die a lot more, but to be fair, keep in mind, again, I'm only doing T16 content. I'm only doing like Guardian Invitations right now, Elder, Shaper, and in there they never die, but that doesn't mean that they are completely safe in T17s, etc. But for now, they feel great, honestly. However, if they would die, you can always unspec for 25% more damage here, for example. Mastermind of Discord is something good if you want to farm T17s within, like, this is just more damage. And then Shaper of Flames. So, this Ascendancy node is being discussed by some people. I personally think it's the best fourth choice for this build. Because I think Bastion protects us against elemental damage, which is never the weakness of us, because we have a lot of EHP, and I get suppression and lucky, and eventually I would also cap suppression and all. And we do not have armor or evasion. If I put my flasks up, which I usually have up in maps, it's still like 7.5k. This is good evasion. This is better than having none. But this is not a physical mitigation that you should be happy with. But I still have 41k. Well, because you have Shaper of Flames, actually it's more than 41k. I didn't put anything of a Merc in here. But to be fair, I put this in here. Yeah, this is from Cloak of Flame. If you only, like, I also have, let me show you in-game, I also have a belt on my Merc. He's here. I also have this belt on my Merc. I did not put that in, right? I just put in Cloak of Flame basically because belt plus the Ascendancy. Like, in reality, I have a little bit more than this 41k in reality. Oh, but to be fair, I don't always have endurance charges up, so I don't know. Like, if I put one here instead, wait, that's a big difference actually. Wow, why is it such a big difference? That's wild to me. If I put one in here, 28k, that's still pretty good. Oh, and Immortal Call obviously out. This is way too much. Yeah, 20k. So 20k Fizz makes it is, in my opinion, very solid for an Elementalist. Yeah, and the Ascendancy plus belt is giving us a little bit more than, like, it's probably 1/3 or maybe even half of a Fizz makes it. Anyways, moving on. Ascendancy good, feeling good. Shaper of Flames, what I wanted to say about this, you need to think about the playstyle, okay? If you want to play this build, I used Frostblink of Wintry Blast and Penance Brand for 2 reasons. First of all, I like the playstyle. Second of all, it works very well with Elementalist Ascendancy. You have to hit everything before it hits you. That works really well if you have a brand that, like, I don't have any flasks up and all. But this is a cast time of 0.19 seconds. If I would have flasks up, if I would have Arcane Surge up from this Watcher side, for example, this would be even faster. And if I hit everything before it can hit me, and you have that time, the Ascendancy is very strong because you convert 40% of their damage to fire with a Ruby Flask as well, to be fair. And you are also chilling everything by 40%. But if you do not hit them before, then the Elementalist is pretty weak. But I hit everything before it hits me, so I'm chilling. Okay, about this tree, there's a few things. You can, for example, get rid of a mana mastery if you have an Enlighten, which I'm leveling in offhand right now. And when it's level 3, that's pretty fine. Maybe you also need 1 Jewel or Enlighten 4. I didn't really figure that one out yet 100%. But yeah, you could swap that. Arctic Armor is also something you can decide for yourself. I have Arctic Armor. I think at the same time, it would be totally fine if you do not use Arctic Armor. Let me tick that. Actually, untick that. It would be totally fine if you would not use Arctic Armor and instead take Flesh and Stone. That would be totally viable and totally fine. And yeah, the other auras I think are kind of hard to discuss. Vow Discipline is also some comfy stuff when you get ignited, by the way, or some other stuff. Bleeding, blah, it's just comfy to have that. Discipline can be removed though. And yeah, Impulsor is mandatory, probably. I did not try stuff without it. Maybe there is some tech. With Herald of Ash, Herald of Purity, and a Bringer of Ruin, maybe there is some tech. And when you put like Chain into Penance Brand of Dissipation, for example, I didn't try it. I cannot recommend it because I never tried it. I just equipped an Impulsor and I was very happy and very pleased with how the build works. But maybe Impulsor is not needed. However, if you go into actual Pinnacle bosses, you do not want to have Impulsor because it's only giving you shock immunity, a slight bit of increased damage. Like, that's bad. No. If you go into actual bosses, you want to put in some nice necrotic armor with spell suppression and cap your spell suppression with that necrotic armor and some better gear in other places. Yeah, because you, for example, wouldn't need a pure ES helmet, then you could also craft a suppression helmet and then maybe even annoyance suppression, and then you're chilling. All right. You can just level this with Firestorm. When you level this with Firestorm, you just rush for EO, for the Fire Mastery, and Templar area, cast speed here, Golem nodes, life, and you will always have enough damage. Just the typical Firestorm leveling. You can look that up everywhere on YouTube. Everyone basically did that. Yeah, and this is like with the Stormblast Mines now, right? This is like realistic mapping damage, and let me put that to realistic bossing damage. This is all realistic. This is all fine. This is all fine. This is all fine. I know that I had 65 at 40 on bosses. Yeah, this is realistic boss damage. So you have 2 times 1.7 mil. And one last thing I want to add. Again, I'm not claiming this is the best, blah, 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 but holy shoot. Guys, the playstyle of this. Playing with brands is so comfy. You just put down the brands and you have so much time to react to everything a boss is doing, blah, blah, blah. It feels great, honestly. Oh, also, I didn't talk about the block chance. I really like this, by the way, the dual wielding mastery. Like you can see 49% block. This is fake. It is more like 34. But I honestly like this. The more I played with Elementalist and the more I realized, wait, I basically never get hit. The more I liked this one, and it feels really good, honestly, to have this 50% block. And yeah, then together you have the 7.5k evasion, always when you are mapping, your flasks are up, obviously, and 50%-ish block, and actually you feel great. Like, I never had a close call on this character, and I have to say this build is probably the most fun build that I played after Blade Vortex Triple Heralds back in the days. Yeah, that's it for now. I'm gonna keep cooking. I hope I don't die. I'm gonna do bossing. I'm gonna try to juice it more. I'm hopefully having a trade economy that gives me something, and maybe I'm gonna do an update video then. But until then, boys, POB is in the description, and if you have any questions, then let me know, and have a good one.